Hello, fabulous DIYers. It's Dana Tavois here, and today I am doing another live. Yes. So I'm gonna wait for everybody to come in first, and we're gonna get started. I haven't done one of these lives in a long time. I'm looking at the screen instead of the camera, so it's going to be hard for me to keep track of both. So this is going to look weird. So we will see what's going on and how this goes. So today in this video, I want to talk about online sewing for customers because I had asked a question on. Actually, I've been getting this question a lot on my Instagram. Every time I post a stories or something. Jinxie, you want to say hi? Okay, you're gonna have to go down. So I have been asked this question about how do you sew for people online and stuff like that, and um, I've never really answered it because I really focus on my business and trying to grow my business. So I don't feel like I wanted to share that. But a lot of people have been asking me this question on how I do it, if I can share some tips and tricks. So right now I have a order from a customer of mine online, and it's a rush order actually. So I basically need to get this done, and I felt like, while I'm sitting here cleaning these sequence, is a sequin piece, but I have to clean out the sequence. I figured I can jump on here and talk to you guys about, you know, um, how to go about it. Where is the chat? I don't see the chat in here. I don't know. I don't know if there's a chat in here. Anyway, so yeah, so I basically wanted to basically share with you while I am cleaning this up and getting this done that I share you some of my tips since I have this thing I need to finish. So while I'm gonna be talking while I'm doing my work, so that way you can see that I can kill two birds with one stone. And basically, I'm really not gonna be checking for the chat like that because I need to concentrate to do what I am doing. But I'm gonna talk. I also wrote notes about what I'm gonna talk about in here, and then so we're gonna go step by step through each top section of this topic. So basically, the question was, how do you sew for people online? Now, for me, I've been sewing since 2006. I've sewn for people in person, and then I think on in 2011, that's when I decided that I want to, you know, start my own sewing business. I want to basically sell my pieces that I design online. I know I look crazy with these glasses on, but this is how to protect my eyes from these sequins that be flying all over the place when I'm like cutting them off from my seams. Anyway, so I decided to open my online shop. At the time, I was working for somebody, and they recommended me to go on Etsy to start selling my designs. And at first, I was so nervous because you don't know who's going to be shopping your pieces, and you don't know if you're going to be able to if it's going to fit them. And then you're trying out, you don't know your sizing, you don't know how your fit is. You just basically, I was basically sewing onto my body, and at that time my body was very thin, so um, a lot of people couldn't wear size small. Not a lot of people was in size small, but it is what it is. You got to start somewhere. So I decided to start posting my outfits, my pieces, my designs online, and try to share it with you within social media, like on Facebook, and at the time was MySpace, and then Facebook. And then I also, did fashion shows and stuff like that and tell them that, I have an Etsy shop, come and visit or whatever. But at the time, I didn't really take it serious because I was nervous. I was scared. So I had it was up in 2008. So I went away, continued to work in the industry, took a break off of that. And then after I left my job, that's when I decided to go back to Etsy, and that was 2011. So now 2011, now it's time for me to really take this serious. So I already learned how to grade my patterns and stuff like that, but not necessarily my stuff to sell to people. So whenever someone came and asked me to like when I got my first order on Etsy, I was like freaking out. So I basically was really nervous, and but I took a chance on it because you know what, if I don't jump into practice this, I won't never learn. So that's what I have to say to you. When you first start, don't be afraid to do it, even though you are afraid. It happens to everybody. This is like your first purchase. You're gonna freak out. Everybody, like, my gosh, I'm getting my first order. I'm like excited but nervous because you want to make sure it's right and correct. Cool. So I kind of understood the basics of sizing and what people wear and whatnot. So, I photographed it on myself. The person decided to purchase, and I went ahead and made it in the item, the size that they requested. Now, for me, every time my customer comes and purchase from me, they all have a repetitive same sizing across the board. For me, my size is a size medium, so that to me is a popular size that I always have to do. Large and small, not so. Mostly small is not really so popular, but mediums and above is a little bit popular. So yeah, so I basically started sewing for that person, and when I sent out my piece, and this is the first one I did, when I sent it out, I also let them know that if they had any issues, for them to reach out to me. So from there, I didn't hear anything back, so I knew that was fine. Okay, so how did I get to that point? So when I first started, you really don't know exactly the sizing. So what you could do is get a pair of pants, like get an item that you love the fit of and wear, and you can use that as a block. If it's a paper pattern, you can use that as a block. If it's a item that you have, like a clothing item, you can use that as well to help you create the standard to start off. So what I did was, I think I had a pair of pants. I like the fit of it, and I said, you know what, I really like this pattern, and I think I got it from one of those cheap stores or something like that. And I said I can go ahead and adjust it to fit properly the way I want it to fit. And so I got those pants, took it apart, and then took the pattern from that and fixed it. And that was my beginning of my standard pattern. So you can start with that if you want to, or you can start with a pattern that you developed for yourself. So if it's a basically a pants or a top or a dress that you like the way it fits, you can use that and start from there, and then manipulate it and try to fix it the way you want it to fix it, so that way you can get it right. Now, what so I'm going to go through the topics, or the breakdown of this topic. And for me, I'm going to have to say is, first of all, if you sew for everyone, you sew for no one. If you sewing for everybody, you're not sewing for nobody, because you are not allowing yourself to figure out the your aesthetic one, your sizing two, and because you're constantly switching to cater to a bunch of people, you never really hone down your skills to get it right. So if you sitting here sewing for a man, woman, child, and this and that, it's like you're not giving yourself enough space to figure out exactly what the person wants, their sizing, how they shape, how things are supposed to fit in certain places, the right measurements for certain styles and stuff like that, because you're jumping all over the place. I find that very annoying, and it's very stressful, because now I jump from one style to another style. I'm trying to figure out, oh my gosh, if it's going to fit the right person, because I'm sitting here trying to cater to this person, when if I just stuck to just one, try to understand that one body type from that one particular person, I would be able to be the best at that, and made my mistakes and learn from them, and then perfect that, and then move on to being another customer. So I find that I don't do that. I think that's it causes too much headache, and I would prefer not to do those things. Now, there's people who are, would do it, and if they are good, kudos to them. But I personally find that too much of a headache, and I'm not going to do it. I'd rather not be a jack of all trades and master in none. But if that floats your boat, then good for you. But that's not what I do. So I think sticking to one type of person is the best way do to get the job done, to know exactly what sizes you need to create for your customer. Now, second, when another thing, no, number two. Okay, so it's about the sizing and how you create your own sizing. So when a customer comes to you, you don't know what their size is. You have no idea what their body type looks like. You just know based off of the number that they want to purchase. Now, what I will say is that when your customer comes and purchase from you, they purchase from you because of the way you style the piece or the way it looks. Every brand, if you know, every brand have their own aesthetic. They have their own sizing, and the customer that comes and shop for that brand sees themselves in that brand. So if for me, I'm in high end. So whenever my customer comes to me, they bring stuff so Bergdorf. So they tell me these things, so I already automatically know that, okay, so they bolt me in that category, one, because of the way my stuff is set up and styled and looks. And then two, the type of fitting I already researched, meaning that I go to the market, I go into the stores to see the clothing. More higher end pieces are more tailored. They have more shape. They fit better. They lay better. Um, so I look at different brands, look inside the garments. Even sometimes you would go into a fitting room, pick up some measurements and stuff like that, and then you bring that back and you tailor it to your own customer. So if your customer shops at H&M or wherever store, just walk into the store and figure out exactly the sizing. Once you figure out the sizing, then you can go ahead. Okay, my customer they basically come to me saying this is what they shop. Always ask your customer when your first customer puts in an order. Ask them what size do they wear. Don't be afraid. I know in the first couple of orders you tend to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to think that I can't do this or I'm not professional. But your customer will appreciate you to reach out to them asking them, a little bit of detail about the order, so that way you can get it right and they can feel at ease. Sometimes you can ask the customer and they tell you, oh, they're this size, and really they're not. I had those too. I had customers who came with their own measurements, and I thought that they don't know what they're talking about, and really they did. So I think you, as the person who's creating these pieces, you need to do your research. One, you need to ask your customer a little bit more detail about their sizing. Hey, customer, what size do you wear? What normal sizes do you wear? Maybe in pants, maybe in dress, maybe in top. Or you can tell them, if you really want to figure out exactly what size do you wear in certain brands, or what are your favorite brands that you wear. It's okay to ask them up front, so that way they know that you are taking this job very seriously. So then you go and research once they give you the answer. If you go into the project and you're making stuff and then you go and say, oh, let me go ask the customer, their sizings, then this is not, I don't recommend it, because the customer starts freaking out and they will feel like maybe this is a bad idea. Being upfront and knowing exactly the questions you want to ask in the beginning will make the customer feel more confident that you're ready to take on this job. So I usually ask the customer in the beginning, when I first started. Now, not so much, because I already, focus my attention on certain styles. So when they do reach out to me, I already know, like, what styles or what sizing they want. And if it's like, I want to double check, I just basically ask them, what's your normal dress size, and what's your normal dress size, and what size do they wear in whatever they're ordering. If it's a top, I ask them what top, and then I also, if it's a bottom, I ask them what bottom. So yeah, ask questions. Um, yeah, ask them questions about their sizings up front. Um, Two, you can also create a size chart. Size charts are really good, just create a size chart. If you have a particular sizing, you start with one, and then you grade your patterns or your sizing to next size, and put that in your post, so that way the customer can see, okay, maybe I can choose closer to this, and that way this can really help you to create the garment based off of their sizing, because that way they, when they select the size, they already saw the sizing chart in the post or in your caption, and then they can tell, okay, the medium is for me, so I'm going to select the medium. Now, like I said, not all customers will do this. They will sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm this size, and then all of a sudden, when they get the item, they contact you saying, oh no, this didn't fit, this and that, whatever. So you can try to even ask questions, but still sometimes you get those where the customer says, no, it's not my size. So then you'll just own it and tell them, all right, well, we can go up or down, or, if that's not going the situation, or the customer gets turned off, then, refund them back their money, or whatever case may be. But you want to be as detailed and very clear about what you do, how you make it in the post. Some people read. Majority people, if they're going to spend their coin, I know for my customer researches me before they start investing in my pieces, because it is expensive. So they're not going to sit there and throw their money down the drain, for a newbie who's, in this, section. So they take their time to research, and I also spend time to talk to them as well, because I don't want to waste their time, and they don't want to waste my time. So we have to make sure that everything is, very clear, open, what everybody's doing. That's how I like to work, and I would recommend that for you if you are, considering to shop on create clothes online. Okay, so another thing, let me see what I have written down here. Ask them. Okay, so now when you go and ask them to provide you measurements, um, some customers will come in with their measurements. I had a customer who came with their measurement, um, and they were basically saying that their measurement was very catered to them, like they had a special body type. So at first, when I got the measurements, I said, okay, then you need a size this. And then I didn't really fully understood that the size that they gave, the measurements that they gave me was tailored to their body, because their body was very uniquely different from the norm. Because there's usually the sizes like small, medium, large are kind of like evened out, even if the body is a little different, like a pear shape versus someone who has no hips, or what is it, A line, what is it, apple, pear. Sometimes the sizings, they're kind of the same across the board. So people can maneuver all those things. But there's people that have, like, I need, my legs are much smaller than my top, my bottom is much smaller than my top, so I need this to fit this way. So when they start giving you a little more detail to what they purchase, that means that they fully understood that their body type is different, and they want the item to be perfect for them. So when someone comes to you like that, you want to go and ask them, is this professional measurements, or is this measurements you took on your own, or did someone else measure you, that the measurements you're providing? And sometimes they tell you that they took it themselves, or maybe it's professional. You can ask them, how long ago was these measurements taken, is this right now, and then you decide on your own how much how to go from those measurements, and what to create. Should you be a little bit bigger, should you be a little bit smaller? You decide. After that, you make the yeah you can make the decision, but some customers, they do come with their own measurements, and I decide, okay, we're gonna go small or large, and if it is those measurements, I tell them that this is what you gave me, so this is what we're going by, and there will be no returns or exchanges because of that. I offer returns and exchanges because, like I said, my stuff, I can create my pieces for a very general, broad customer, so they can, return and then exchange for me. But if it's something specialized, like, oh, I have a smaller leg, or I have my torso is much longer, then that's really specially custom for that person. So I just tell them that's its final sale if you want me to make it. Usually my customer has tailors and they can adjust it. That's why I don't really make it exactly towards the measurements. They can also have their tailor adjust if they want to, but if there's sometimes there's customers be like, I want it to be made towards me, and these are my measurements. So I make sure I double check to make sure that is what it is, and then I proceed and I let them know that if this is what you told me it is, it's going to be made like that, and there won't be no refunds or exchanges if you get it for some reason it's feel like that. Now if you make something and they told you this is what it is and you didn't follow it, then you own up to it, and you just you know take care of the issue. But if they gave the measurements and you followed it, that's it. So that's what I would say with that. Okay, third, you're gonna make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, and I think there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. You just have to own it and do the best that you can, and take care of the issue and move on. I had how many mistakes have I had? Like I can't even think how much, maybe like 3 to 5 mistakes where customers would tell me, like one inspection, I had a customer who told me they were size medium, and then all of a sudden they contacted me back a week later saying, oh, the item that I gave them kind of fell apart and stuff like that. And I'm like, how is that possible if you gave me the right sizing? Come to find out, the person was like in an X large. So I had to handle it and then move on. There was another customer who gave me measurements, and then I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just get this size for you. And then when the person received the item was still too big because they gave me the exact measurements and I didn't follow the exact measurements to the T. So I had to also take care of that, and handle the issue. So basically just own it, handle it, tell the customer that you're going to fix it or whatever the situation is mutually, and then just move on from that. There's sometimes you're not going to be able to satisfy the customer. Sometimes the first time go around, they expect it to be, the first shot, and some customers are willing to exchange it, some customers are not. So it is what it is. That's part of the business, so you just have to own it. I think that mistakes will help you understand exactly the sizings that you are going to create in your aesthetic. My aesthetic is very like uh shapely but loose. I don't like tight fitting clothes. That's not my style. I like it to be tailored, very draped, nice, very just well made to last a long time. So that's what I cater to. Now, if you cater to the club type girl, if you cater to the teenage girl who's going to prom, the club girl, work girl, or you know, chill out beach dude, or children's, there's this particular style that the customer will come to you for, and they expect you to do the same. Um, like your style will cause your customer to come towards you. Your customer will be the same person no matter what size it is, because you have a style, they attract to that style, they're going to come to you for that style. So if you get something, sometimes people come out to me and they, because they know I sew, that to me doesn't, I don't really cater to that. because I'm not looking for somebody who's looking for me as a sewer to just to sew them items. I sell pieces that I sell. So if you don't like my designs, then I can't do anything for you. I don't like taking outside custom work from anybody. And I find that for me, it's more complicated because I have to now create a whole new identity to cater to something that I'm not even interested in. So I don't take orders in those sense. But if you are doing orders of people who sending you inspirational photos of other people's work and want you to copy the inspiration work for to the T, then you gonna have to decide, how you gonna go about it. Because if they come back disappointed of the inspiration not being the same, that's going to be on you. And it's more difficult to do things replicas of stuff. Some people might be good at it, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in selling my own design. So I don't fool with that. I really don't. So you're gonna make mistakes. Mistakes is part of it. It helps you define who your customer is, and you'll start figuring out, okay, this is the style that I do. My customer keeps repeating the same way. The customer is the same, and all I have to do is just make the item and just fit it to them, based off of the measurements they gave me or the size that they gave me. Because they're shopping because they like what you do and how you do it, and they like the fit. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm gonna start doing like in-depth conversations about this on my Patreon though. I think there's so much that goes on within online that just because you know how to sew, it's not, oh, just sew and just stick it up there. It's just, there's so much detail that goes into creating like an online sewing business. So I'm gonna have more chit chats and talks on my Patreon about this. Like, it goes in depth. Maybe I'll share some other tips like pricing and all that other stuff on there. I don't know yet, but I'm gonna start to do it on Patreon. Okay, so let me see about this chat. I saw people was maybe asking questions about it, so I'm gonna quickly answer, and then after that I'm gonna get off here because I have to complete my work and I can't stay. How do I see this chat? Oh, okay, I see it now. All right, let's see. Thank you for everyone who has joined the live. I know this is unexpected, but this is what I could do right now because I am very busy. I'm supposed to be doing the budget series challenge, but I have an order, so my business comes first, then comes YouTube. Um, so whatever happens, I put that on a back burner. So right now, I just wanted to give, like, since I'm sitting here therapeutically cutting away sequins, I figured, maybe jump on the live, which I don't have to edit. And editing for me is just so annoying at times. Okay, do you have any tips on easy books to use for pattern making? No, I don't have no tips on books because I don't even look at pattern. I don't understand. I'm a visual learner. Me reading from a book is just, no. I'm not going to read from a book. I'd rather watch somebody, show me patterns and practice so I can get better. Okay, so, okay, Peepla 7, that was good because I avoid confusions when certain brands run big or size. Yeah, certain brands have different sizing because they have a different aesthetic. Um, like let's say for instance, you have H&M and Zara. Zara has a European, both of them are European, but Zara has a more fitted, tailored look. Is cut smaller, one, and the fits are more tailored. I just feel like it's more tailored. H&M on the other hand is a little bit more roomy, spacey, there's really not much tailoring goes on. I mean, yeah, you can probably walk in and find some tailoring stuff like that, but it's not what Zara is. Now, they both have a same, sizing chart, but their sizing chart, one person can be a next size up in Zara and the person in Zara has to size down in H&M because the fits are just the way the make the aesthetic is just not the same. But the sizes, you might have to size down, which is not a big deal because you know it's either you choose which one you are. Are you a person that's more fitted? Your customer will be expecting you to have this measurements to the T. If you are someone who's making something that's a little bit more loose, not form fitting and stuff, your customer will expect you to be that way as well. So they'll, that customer, think about how that customer shops. If that person is shopping, fitted stuff, where are they going to shop, for fitted stuff on a regular basis? If another customer is shopping loose fits, or you design loose fit stuff, where else are they shopping loose fits? So you will basically have to research and figure out exactly your customer and how they do things. So yeah, every brand have their own aesthetic, and you won't get the same sizing per brand. It just depends on the person's style. Okay, how much for your clothes? Okay, so I'm not really, I kind of consider myself high end, not necessarily, but because high end, to me, high end is like, wait, no, not to me. Usually high end is more of 2,000 to 5,000. Um, but I'm kind of right now, I'm under 1,000, um, but higher than three. So it's 300 to 1,000. So that's for just pieces, not gowns. My gown starts like 2,000 and up. Anything up from there. So that's where I am with that. Okay. Oh yeah. What I was saying again. Okay. I want to thank everybody who came to the live. I appreciate it. Hey to everybody. Hey, fabulous DIYers. It's Diana Tabwa here. I know you're going to see that if you're going to see the replay. I did say that in the beginning. How do you stay passionate and motivated? Okay, so the reason why how I stay passionate and motivated is my end goal. Okay, first of all, I just feel like I've wanted my dream, and my dream, first of all, I want to have a store one day. I want to have a fabulous store. Oh my God, I want a store so bad. I just trying to grow my business in order for me to able to have this store. So I want to have a brand. I've been daydreaming about my brand, my business, my high end. I want to have high end. I don't even know if I want to go to couture one day, but maybe because I'm not limiting myself for right now. But I have to set myself up in order for me to achieve that. And I say start where you are, but you have to make mistakes, learn from it, decide where you want to be and how you want to get there. So for me, if I eventually want to become couture, I have to set myself up for that. So that means everything that I do, even if it's tutorial, even if it's um, sharing information like this, I want to have integrity. I want to have it. Um, I want you to see that I respect my work. I want my work to be respected. I want you to see how passionate I am behind my work. I want you to see how I care, and I'm dedicated and motivated to the goal. So I've been working at this since I left school, and that was like 2005. And everybody knows that I basically lived on my sewing machine because that's what I want so much. And it's not just sewing because it's so much more than just sewing. Sewing is not even what it takes to run a business. Like you need to really know the business side of everything. But right now I'm just trying to build integrity and respect for my brand before I start, all right, I want to outsource and look for so and so. I already have people already who I can go ahead and make my stuff, but I don't want to do that just yet. I still want to build something first so people understand exactly what I stand for. So if I show you that I'm handcrafting this and how I, handcraft them, that to me is very important for you to understand how passionate and motivated I am for my pieces before I start sending out to anybody. There's some things that I even make, I'd be like, my customer loves it. And I'd be like, no, because is going to get damaged or after a while, and I don't want you to have that. I want you to have something to last for years, not, oh, I wear it today, tomorrow is damaged and I can't wear it no more. That, I find that that's ridiculous. I don't like wasting money like that, especially if I'm investing something. I'm investing to last, not to throw away. Okay, so thank you for sharing. Hey girl, hey Teresa Walker. I've seen you in Instagram. Yes. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Okay, so Joy Jones asks, how would you suggest one go about learning to grade? I think there's supposed to be videos online to grade. Um, I don't. I grade the my size differences. They're not that much. I mean, it's about like an inch and a half to 2 inches difference. So I think it depends on how big you want to go to the next size. That's when you decide. This is more that the grading for you is predicated to how you want your stuff to be. Like, is there going to be, you decide the gap between the next size and this size. I don't really, my grading situation is I don't want it to be too much the next size because I don't want it to be too big from the original. It's, I don't know how to explain that, but the grading for me is like about an inch and a half to 2 inches from my pieces. I can't tell you exactly how you should grade yours, but you should grade it to depending on the style that you have and how you want the next size to look. Okay, let me see. This is a lot of stuff here. Okay. Um okay. Ashley Unique asks, when first starting an online store, do you think I should start with lower prices and greatly go up because I eventually want to be high end but don't feel people will shop with me starting off? Okay, so this is a question about high end stuff. Um, I'm not gonna go too deep into this because it's gonna take a whole nother video. I guess again I'm going to be doing more talk about this in depth on my Patreon. Okay, so what I will say about high end is the high end customer that is not the same as the lower end customer. I'll tell you that much. They're not, and they're not here for the shits. I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't really curse on here, but they're not in for the shits. Okay, if your stuff, they have a certain level they expect, and if your stuff is not up to par, they're not checking for you. Um, Also, I mean, there's, and it depends on which, I don't know what industry you're trying to go into. Like, if you're doing it, because there's high end and there's high end people making stuff, on their own in their neighborhood or whatever. I don't know. But there's high end where it's like the customer, when it comes to you, they tell you that they shop these stores and they kind of consider you. So my customer, they kind of consider me like, oh, net-a-porter, and they expect what net-a-porter is doing, I should be doing the same thing too. Even though I'm like, I'm just starting off, I'm like trying to figure out my way. They're like expecting, no, because that's what I put out. So they research. They are not here for nonsense. They know about what they expect. They know, they're very knowledgeable. So if you are going to go into high end, you need to be prepared to be high end. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna smack a high price on an item and your item doesn't look the par. Like, it needs to look the par. Even if it's a basic piece or basic simple style, if you are not if your pieces are not looking high quality, they're not gonna spend the money on it. They're not gonna be interested, or it's not even gonna take an interest. So if you're gonna start, make sure that you can start high end, but you gotta make sure that your pieces represents that. If your pieces do not represent that, they're not gonna check for you. So that's for sure. That's why I spend very amount of time perfecting my craft, so they know that I take my work serious, and they expect, they'll take it a chance on because I'm showcasing that. Okay, so how long did it take you to define your customer? For me, it's a very long time. I'm not a person to rush into things. Okay, this is a long talk. Okay, I don't like rushing into things. I grew gradually, um, slowly. As I got better, my stuff get better. So if I get better, my prices go up too. If I start hiring somebody, my price is gonna go up on top of that. If I get the store that I dream that I'm gonna have one day, of course my price is gonna be. But by then my customer has been following me, and they understand the journey of how I got there. So they probably be like, okay. And then on top of that, every level that you grow, a new client or new customer will see that. There's some people who are not interested in where I am right now, but if they see me at a different tier, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of interested. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Okay. For a new person in fashion business, would you should be prominent thing to consider? I don't understand this question. For a new person into fashion business, what should be the prominent thing to consider? A new person in fashion. You need to consider the business side. You need to consider what is it? I don't know. I really don't know right now. I'm lost for words. I really, what would you consider? Being profitable, not being profitable, making something that is profitable, not getting by, not being like, oh, I'm gonna sell this and then sell it for cheap and barely make any money off of it. No, like the business side of it, like you need to know how to really make money off your profit. Like if you're gonna profit something, are you gonna make money, or is this something like, oh, I'm just gonna cheap and then that's it. Like you need to know the business side of it. Like I don't even know how to explain this. I really don't know how to explain that right now. I gotta think about it. I gotta really think about that question. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna do a few more and I'm gonna get off this because I wasted. I'm wasting time now, and it's taken away from my rush order, and I need to get this done. Okay. What else? Okay. Is there anything you can't make or have trouble making? Oh yeah, there's a couple of stuff I haven't put myself into get myself into because I don't want to. I mean, I'll try it, but if I don't like it, I just come back to it later. What is that? Menswear, I haven't done. I dabbled in it like years ago. I didn't like the way it looks, so I no. I probably will do that maybe later on, but not no time soon. Children, not interested. Maybe later. Maybe later. I could probably hire somebody to do it. I'm not interested to make no children clothing. I'm not interested to make men's clothing. I'm not interested to do what else. It's quite a few things that I'm not interested in doing. I probably would if maybe later on things change and I'm like, okay, I want to add men's to it or children, then that's different. But right now, no. Okay, so I want to focus on one thing, like be a master at one thing that I do and then move on. And I want to succeed on that too. I don't want to just, be really good at sewing. I need to be good at business. So this is what I'm working on right now. Okay. And okay, so yes, I'm the budget series is coming very soon. I just have to have time to fix, and like I said before, my business comes first. So anything that comes in between that, that's when I post. That's when I can do certain things. I can't leave my business and then start doing tutorials. No. So the budget series, I just went out the other day actually. If you on my Instagram, you saw. If you on my Instagram, you saw what happened. Not much, but I did share that I was basically went out and filmed. I did film, and boy, I could tell you, I am rusty. I was rusty. It's been a while. Oh my gosh. I need to get in tune with this. So I hope it's good because, I don't know if I got good. I think I got good shots. I think so. So it's coming very soon. I'm gonna work on it. Hopefully next week, and then I can start the gown right after. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna try to finish this. I want to finish it up to the before the end of the year. I want to finish this. I got 4 more videos total. Ugh, it's a lot of work, but I'm definitely going to be doing it. So okay, so now I'm gonna have to go now. I have to finish this, and we can chat later in the next video. And if you guys have any comments or basically any feedback, what you felt about what I said, you can leave it in the comments. I'm going to be also taking a look at that once I finish my work, because I gotta do my work first, and then we can chit chat about this later. I'll leave information about what I'm going to be doing on Patreon, so if you want to join there, please join. I want to give a shout out to everyone who's on Patreon right now, who are supporting me, who has supported me. I want to tell you guys thank you, because I appreciate every donation, every pledge that you guys gave. It really means a lot to me, and I'm going to work hard to try to update the Patreon, because I think it's a good place and a good platform for people who are very interested and want to know more in detail about, you know, things like, you know, high end and business and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're gonna talk later. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe if you did, and all that jazz. So we'll talk later, okay? Bye, guys.